This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means? It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop Black Friday week starting November 21st.
Feel your max with Brooks Running and the all-new Ghost Max 2. They're the shoes you deserve, designed to streamline your stride and help protect your body. Treat yourself to feel-good landings on an ultra-high stack of super comfy nitrogen-infused cushion that takes the edge off every step, every day. The Brooks Ghost Max 2. You know, technically, they're a form of self-care. Brooks, let's run there. Head to brooksrunning.com to learn more.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. Today I'm going to talk about some misconceptions about foreplay and about responsive desire, and how some people think that this is a lesser form of activity or desire, and it means that the woman's not really into you or something, and that's just not true. And I will get to that as soon as I ask you to subscribe. Most recent subscriber episode was not working, is pretty terrible for many people. And it is, and learn all about why not working actually is not the boon to mental health that many consider that it will be. Okay, so there are some guys who think that if a woman is not spontaneously wet and aroused when she basically looks at you, that she's not into you. The reason that men think this is porn. There's just no other way that could happen. You know, I mean, like, if you get bombarded with images of women that are just ready to go at the drop of a hat, then you assume that that's normal, and it's not. It's crazy. It's the equivalent of, there is these TikToks where, like, it's like how I want my husband to react when I show him my nails. And it's like a woman comes home from the nail salon and she shows her husband her manicure. And a lot of women are really into their nails. They do these fancy things with their nails. And the guy in the TikTok, to be funny, just spits out his drink. He like falls on the floor. He's like, oh my God, I never saw anything so gorgeous in my life, right? And so this is kind of, it's a joke based on how women will be like, oh, do you like my nails? And the guy like doesn't give a shit, right? So he'll be like, yeah, you know, and she wishes he was a little more enthusiastic. But it's funny, right? Because it takes into account how absurd this would be for him to actually respond like that. Well, the equivalent of wanting that kind of response is expecting a woman to act like the women in porn, where as soon as she sees you, she's wet and ready to go. It doesn't make any sense. That's not how the female body works. So there certainly, if you're young and you're ovulating, but preferably both at the same time, and single, then your body is telling you to make a baby. And so then you are going to walk around, not in an aroused state, but in a receptive state to arousal. But some guys think that only older women need foreplay or something. And I just kind of, this again has to come from porn, because younger women also need foreplay. All women, you know, benefit from being warmed up, and that kicks your desire. Even if your desire starts strong, it kicks it into a higher gear. Some guys don't understand this analogy until I make it the analogy with edging, you know, where you're taking yourself to orgasm and then not, and then you're taking yourself to orgasm again, and then eventually you orgasm, right? That's what foreplay is. So that orgasm is going to be better and stronger, right? So it's the same thing for women. It seems like I really just wish that guys spoke more openly to their sons about how bad porn is and how it makes you feel that women are going to respond in this cartoonish sort of way that they just don't. You know, because it really sets the bar to be some absurd thing where you forget that a woman's body needs stimulation. Like, you need to be better in bed. The better you are in bed, the more the woman enjoys it. Even if she is 18 years old and ovulating and single. Still, if you are better in bed, she will enjoy it more. This has nothing to do with a woman not being aroused by you. So as soon as she's having sex with you, she thinks you're cute enough and handsome enough and sexy enough to have sex with, right? So you're through the door. But that is necessary but not sufficient. So it in no way goes against or like attraction. Of course she's attracted to you. You're having sex with her, right? So she's attracted to you enough for you to have sex with her. After that, though, that's your time to shine, to engage in foreplay and more technically proficient sexual activity so that she enjoys sex. And this is why we sell these videos on my website, like Heather Ray's, our sexologist. We have Lick It Right. We have the Partner's Guide to Female Pleasure. That's a good starting place, because there's a lot of guys that think if she's attracted to you, then from porn, they think she just gets dripping wet and she's ready to go. And basically her orgasm is imminent. And these are the guys who do like 5 seconds of oral sex and they're like confused why she didn't have an orgasm yet. And when you're with one of those guys in bed, like I have this secret group, Facebook secret group, and somebody was saying, a woman that's single was saying, oh, I finally had the porn addict sex, that you describe, where it's so obvious that the man expects everything to go like porn. Women know when you're having porn addict sex, and it's because the guy doesn't really know what to do. He doesn't understand that you need to be stroked and caressed and kissed, and you need foreplay and touching. He just flips you into some different positions and expects that at some point you're going to have an orgasm that's mostly due to how hot he is and secondarily due to how long he lasts at doing something that does not directly stimulate you. This is not most guys, right? But it's porn addict guys, and it's guys who have not had a lot of experience with women, so they're more late bloomers, and so they didn't get the long foreplay that high school and college relationships when you're younger, before you have sex a lot of the time, especially high school relationships, then you are having basically only foreplay. Right? So if you have only foreplay for a very long time because she's not ready to have sex yet, then you get really good at foreplay. And you understand that a woman mostly has an orgasm because you touch her the right way, right? Because you're not even having sex with her, so she can't have an orgasm through sex. She has an orgasm through foreplay. Foreplay is, what you do before you have sex within a relationship when you're young. But guys who have not had that experience and they start out with basically drunken intercourse after watching a lot of porn, they kind of miss that critical window. Of course, you can learn it later, and that's what I hope you're learning right now if you're in that category, is that everybody can be better in bed. Women too. So think how silly it would be if your wife said that because you're attracted to her, she should just lay there. And then it should be great for you because she's so hot, because you are attracted to her after all. But that's boring. That's like the line I always say, the quote, for every beautiful woman, there's a man tired of fucking her. And for every beautiful man, there's a woman tired of fucking him. And then there's same-sex relationships as well, and the same thing applies. Because if you just expect somebody to be aroused because you're existing and you don't know anything to do in bed, you don't have any skill, you don't have any enthusiasm, you don't make any noise, nothing, then why? This isn't like a museum where they're admiring the art, and your body is something that, even if it's great looking, they're used to it within a relationship. And so, and even when they're not, even in the very first encounter with a hot guy, a super hot guy, a woman is not going to have an orgasm just because of how hot he is. That's not how it works. And men think that it works like that for women because it could work like that for a young man, that they would see a hot woman and then just basically spontaneously ejaculate. Would happen for like a young guy. That would never, that is impossible to happen for a woman. You don't ever just look at a guy and spontaneously have an orgasm, That's just not a thing. And so since a lot of men, they don't talk to anybody about sex, they don't learn about sex, and in porn it almost is like that because it's fake, because it's a fantasy and the women are getting paid to do that, then they don't understand that they're being hot, it has nothing to do with the woman's sexual experience at all. You could be hot or not hot. I mean, as long as you are attractive and cute enough for her to want to have sex with, your looks have absolutely nothing to do with sex after that. Most women don't even open their eyes a lot of the time. When they're kissing, the lights are off. It doesn't really matter what you look like at all. It matters how good you are in bed. It matters whether you are taking your time and being patient and doing a build-up, and you're good at kissing. You have good hygiene. Massage is always good. Extended makeout sessions are good. If you're good at going down on her, women who like that, I have a whole podcast on oral sex, so I don't need to get into that now. If you're able to manually stimulate her to orgasm, that's great. Because remember, most women don't get off through intercourse alone. 75% of women don't, because intercourse is not stimulating unless it's certain positions. It's not stimulating of her clitoris, which is what she needs to have an orgasm, right? So unless you do different, the coital alignment technique or what have you. But really, the thing is this. It doesn't matter how hot you are. That does not provide a good experience to your partner. If you do not know how to get them off and to make them feel good and to make them feel aroused, then nothing matters about how sexy you are or how dirty you can talk, or I guess the dirty talk is back in the realm of activities that some men don't think that they should have to do, but it's different. It's very inconsistent, because within that, even the men who are porn addicts that say that they shouldn't have to really arouse a woman, they don't want the woman to just lie there. So even just for that. So the man who doesn't want to do foreplay is equivalent of a female starfish who just lays there and expects that the man is going to get a wonderful experience from her inert body. When the reality is that any healthy man is turned off by a non-responsive woman because it signals that it's coercion. Why isn't she moving? She must not want to do it. And that's going to be a turn off to any sort of mentally healthy, emotionally healthy man. If she doesn't want to do it, you don't want to force her. So it's a signal, like sleeping. You don't want to have sex with a sleeping woman, right? Because she can't consent. And she can't possibly because she's not conscious. So the more that she resembles an inert form, the more turned off any healthy man is going to be. And the more that a man assumes that you're just going to go straight to intercourse, the less turned on any woman is going to be, right? Because then it really does seem like he just wants to get off. He thinks in his brain from watching porn, not having experience, etc., that she is having just as good of a time as he is. But of course, since her body doesn't work that way, then she assumes that he's only using her as a receptacle so that he can get off. And so it's a huge misunderstanding and miscommunication due to the fact that a couple in that situation is not, they're not having attuned sex where they are back and forth reciprocally engaging with what makes each other feel good. Instead, the woman is basically just laying there and the man is just having sex to her, not even with her. And then after that, nobody really feels very good. It doesn't feel like a connecting experience, and it doesn't really feel very erotic for either a man who's with a woman who's just laying there or a woman who feels that a man just used her body basically to masturbate into, which is what it feels like if there is no other sexual behavior going on. This is not everybody, but this is a specific subset of people with limited experience where the sex act is extremely short. It is basically only penetration. The guy feels that something is wrong with the woman if she doesn't have an orgasm just from that. She may feel that way too if she has no idea about how her own body works, which is many people, especially if they're raised in a sex negative culture. And then they both kind of end up feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. The man goes back to watching porn most of the time, and the woman goes back to not thinking about sex as much as she can possibly not think about it. And that is not the sex life that you deserve or that most people yearn for. So anyway, the TLDR on this is that you want to get better at foreplay, right? You want to get better at the sex act. You want to understand how the female body works. This stuff does not mean she's not aroused or not attracted to you, rather. You could be super attracted to a guy, but you still need him to be good in bed and to touch you in ways that feel good. A guy who is super hot can ruin that for any woman by being bad in bed. and just expecting sex to be purely penetration and in a few different positions that he just saw, in porn. And that can ruin it. Every woman has been with a man, any woman who has, been with multiple men has usually been with a man who was cute. Remember, you got to be cute enough to have sex with them, but he ruined it by being what women call a selfish lover, right? So if a man is thinking that if he's hot enough or she's really attracted to him, that he doesn't need to be good in bed, he doesn't need foreplay, it's just so wrong. It's like a woman saying, if I'm pretty enough, I don't need to be nice. He should marry me based on me just being pretty, not I don't have to be kind, I don't have to be good, I don't have to be honest, I don't have to be anything, I just have to be pretty, that's it. And that's crazy. Like, only a very unhealthy man would marry a woman who all he thought of her was that she's pretty. All right, I hope that this was a good wake-up call and instructive to some people, and I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, guys.